Okay, so we are going to work on creating a Gmail account. So what you're seeing here is kind of what it would look like when you just open Chrome and you haven't really added a profile to it yet, except for I have a profile added to it. I can't really do another Chrome window without profiles because I have multiple profiles added. But when you first come into Chrome and you go to add it, a profile, you can just go to Gmail and click login. But what you really want to do is tie Chrome to your Gmail account so that these bookmarks that you have and any passwords that you save or forms that automatically fill for you, these would be saved into your Gmail account in the cloud so that if anything happens to your computer, you would actually be able to install Chrome on another computer, come up here and log in with your Gmail account, and then turn on synchronization, and it would bring all your bookmarks and passwords and form filled data and everything back from within the cloud automatically. So within about 2 or 3 minutes, you'd have access to everything you had on the old PC, at least as far as bookmarks and passwords and stuff that you use in Chrome. Right, so to add a profile to Chrome, what you would do is come up here. There's just going to be a blank little person icon up here in this corner. See next to these three dots. Now, if you take a look here in the upper right corner, you'll see these three dots. And then there's this person icon. Now, this is where I'm signed in and I have multiple accounts in Chrome. But what you want is this add button down here. You're going to use add and you're going to click on add, and that should pop up with set up your new Chrome profile. And I'm going to go ahead here at this point, we'll expand this and I'll click sign in. Okay. And it's going to give me this screen here. And here, if you have a Gmail already, you could use that, but you want to be careful that you're using a very professional Gmail because this Gmail creation video is geared towards job search and using with your LinkedIn profile. So you might want to create a new Gmail unless your Gmail account is just your first name dot last name at gmail.com. You want to get as close to that as possible since I have a kind of somewhat common name. There's multiple other Dan Staffords out there. And I've already used a couple variations of my name for a Gmail. I'm going to have to get a little bit creative to create a fairly professional Gmail, but we are going to try that. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this create account button right here. So I'm going to go ahead and do create account and I'm going to select for myself. Okay. And my first name I'm going to put in here, last name, and I'm going to try Mr. Daniel dot Mr. Daniel A. Stafford. And let's see what happens. So far, it's not telling me that's not usable. So I may be able to create this account. So I'm going to try and create a password here. And I'm going to do one that's fairly long. You want a password that's at least 12 characters long, that has at least one uppercase letter, one lowercase letter, and at least one number and at least one special character like an asterisk or a pound sign or an exclamation point. So I'm going to try to come up with a password that's really easy to remember. Now, what I like to do when I'm creating one of these longer passwords is, let me bring Notepad up here and for just a second on this screen so you can see this. And I'll do something, say, like there was something at my grandparents' house that I really liked, and it was like a small thing that stuck out to me as a kid, but um, I didn't, it was nothing major that anyone else would have ever thought of. So let's say something like, okay, so my grandmother grew sage out in the backyard, and you can see I've got a nice long combination of um, upper and lowercase letters. It's all strung together and not separated words. It's nice and long here. I've got a special character and a number in there. So what we're going to want to do is do something along those lines. Something from childhood or something small at your parents' house or your grandparents' house that really is memorable to you, and you could use an asterisk like that, or a pound sign, or an exclamation point. I think you can even use a dollar sign. Yeah, so really it's up to you, but some kind of special character. Now I'm going to bring this back off the screen because I do have to come up with an actual password for this account if it's going to let me. So let me come up with something here for this account. Let's see. Okay, I think I have something here that'll work for me. And let's pop that in both places. And then I will go ahead and click next. Ah, it's letting me use that. So I will go ahead and throw my phone number in. And for just a moment while I'm doing that, I am going to throw myself on the camera here because I don't feel like putting my phone number up on YouTube. But I'm going to put that in, and then I'm going to click next. And it is sending me a verification, asking to send me a verification code by text message. I'm going to go ahead and pull that verification code via text message and add that in. All right, and 342159. Okay, verify. Now it's asking me about verification recovery email address in case I lose access to this, and then it's asking me about my birth date, which I do have to put in, and I'm also not going to be displaying that on the screen. So obviously there's some things I can't just display in a YouTube video. That wouldn't really be a good idea. And now I'm going to go back to the screen because after the recovery email and the birthday and the phone number and all that stuff, it comes up with this screen about getting more from your number. And really, right now, I am going to go ahead and say skip on this one. Notice down here we've got English in the United States selected as our language. I'm going to skip that. And then we have privacy in terms of service. We have to agree. Okay. and turn on sync. Okay, so I want to say yes, I'm in. And whoa, do we have a nice red browser theme going on here. So if you notice here, we get the option to change that theme. I'm going to go ahead and go with something a little bit lighter maybe. That's a little too blue and not really so good with that. Eh, I think maybe, yeah, let's go with that kind of light green color. I'm gonna take that and say done. Okay. And now you'll notice when I click here, not sure what the error is there, but we'll worry about that a little bit later. But you'll notice I've got my mr.daniel.a.stafford@gmail.com. The sync is on, and now any bookmarks that I make will actually be saved. So if you'll notice here that I have the address bar, but below it I do not have the bookmarks bar and I don't have a home button. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the three dots here in the corner, and I'm going to come down to settings. Let's see. I'm going to go to more tools and extensions real quick because I want to get rid of that Avast online security. That's really a holdover from something previously. We're going to take that and get rid of it. And then I'm going to go to the three dots, go to settings, and sync is on. So what I want to do is, let's see, I want to click on appearance, show home button, and we'll go ahead and show the bookmarks toolbar, and notice now this bar here underneath where I can say bookmarks came on. And then I'm going to go to theme. Okay, and notice now it takes me to the Chrome Web Store and I can select all kinds of different themes. I tend to like dark themes better because I find it easier on the eyes. Um, so I tend to go with ones that are a little more, like galaxies in space and stuff like that. But you can see there's a lot of different themes here. So now when I kind of like this one. This is kind of cool. So let's see what happens when I try this one and add it to Chrome. You notice it looks like the controls and stuff are pretty easy to see in the preview here. I think that's kind of a nice one. Let's see if we can add that on. And yeah, you can still see the buttons and everything up in the corner, and everything's still real easy to find. And you'll see if we go to the new tab here, right? You'll notice here that I'm just closing out. These are tabs up here at the top, right? And I can have multiple tabs open and switch between them just by clicking up here at the top. I don't have to open a new Chrome window every time that I want to open up a new page. So I'm going to get rid of the settings and the extension and one of the new tabs. I'm just going to leave one up here, and let's go to Gmail, for instance. I'm probably not going to have anything in here because I just created this account. But now we have Gmail here, and it's a nice professional Gmail. And I want to make a bookmark here so it's really easy to find. And I'm going to just, right now, I want you to see how I got to that. All right. So let's delete that bookmark real quick. And the way that I added it here was I clicked on this little icon right in the corner here, and then clicked and held with the left mouse button, dropped it down here, and let go of the left mouse button, and there it goes. It saved my Gmail inbox there. And I'm going to edit this to get rid of all this extra stuff and just say Gmail. Okay, I don't want to touch the URL. The URL is the web link to the inbox. I just want to edit the name. And I'm doing this um, to shorten this up so it doesn't take so much room up at the top. And I want to leave that little one in the parentheses there because that tells me how many unread messages I have. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click save, and now you'll notice I have a bookmark to Gmail right there. Now, if I want to save room, because if I start getting too many bookmarks up here, at this end, there's going to be a couple of little arrows and then it'll start dropping down into a drop down list. And it gets kind of crazy trying to find stuff that way. So it might be easier to organize your Gmail this way. All right, I'm going to go right here on the bookmarks bar. Wherever there's an empty spot on this bookmarks bar, you can do this and right click, and I get this right click menu. So when you're using the mouse on a computer, right, left click is like move it, select it, or do it. But right click is what are my options and choices. That right mouse button is what are my options and choices. And right now, what I want to do is add a folder. Okay, so I'm going to add a folder. I'm going to call it Google. Okay, and now I have a folder called Google here on the bookmarks bar. And I can go ahead and use my left mouse button now, left click and hold, move over here with that Gmail bookmark, and then let go. And guess what? The Gmail bookmark is now in there. So, okay, so let's say I want to do a couple other things here that I'd like to use. So, let's say Google Docs. All right, I just go docs.google.com, and that's the address bar I'm typing in there, right? And then hit enter, and guess what? I have Google Docs, and it gives you the option to take a tour here. I'm not really going to need to, but I am going to bookmark Google Docs in this folder, right? So remember, I just grab that corner with the left mouse button, drag it over there and drop it on the folder, and boom, there it goes. Now, if I want to move that out, you see that little white line there? If I let go there, that's where it's going to go, but I'm not gonna. I'm just going to leave it there in there. And now, if you can see here, you have some resume formats already there, project proposal. These are templates that come with Google Docs. You don't really have to do anything um, to use these. Just open, click on one, and you can, use this template if you wanted to. But this is where I would defer to the folks over at the EDD on what's really a good um, template to use. I'm going to back out of this thing. All right. So let's go back to Google and just go to Google Docs. If I want to start a new document, I can just click right there, and I've got a new blank document, and I can do whatever I need to with it. Okay. So let's take this a little bit further. We're beyond Gmail and into Chrome a little bit here now. So let's say and I can change the name of the document right here. All right, I call it test doc. Okay, and then I'll hit enter, and this is now saved as test doc, and I'll type in test text for test doc. Okay, and I don't really have to do anything because it automatically saves to Drive. You're probably asking, what is Drive? Okay, So let's find out what is Drive. I'll just go up here, hit backspace to clear all that, and I'll go to drive.google.com. And here we go. This is, yeah, all right, they're giving me a little tutorial here. I'm going to close that. We don't really need that. Okay, but this is my online Google Drive, and if you'll notice here, I have 15 gigabytes of storage on Google Drive, right? So here, I will go ahead and bookmark Google Drive, okay? And this is, my drive is like your home folder on Google Drive, all right? And this is how you can access that 15 gigs of storage. And anything that you put in here, you can, upload files from your computer, upload folders from your computer. You can download things. Anything you right click on this, you can just right click on it and download it to your PC. But we're going to do a little bit more deep dive into Google Drive in another video. I want to kind of get back over to Gmail here, and let's say I want to work a little bit with the settings in Gmail. Okay, so now if I go to settings in Gmail, I can just go right here. Okay, and I can get to quick settings and apps in Gmail and stuff like that. And you'll notice I have access to my calendar and Google Keep. Google Keep is really handy. It's a to-do list. We'll cover that in another video. What do we got here? Tasks and contacts. Okay, and do believe. Let's see, they haven't really got me set up here with Meet, because usually you would have Google Meet here at the bottom and be able to access it from the computer as well. We're not going to worry about that right now, but there's something here in settings that I want you to see. I'm going to go to this See All Settings. And now we've got a whole boatload of settings here, but I'm not really going to get too into that. One thing I do want to point out down here is that you can um, set up an automatic signature. So, okay, and all I have to do is save changes. And, oh, wait. Let me cut that. I'm doing that in my vacation responder. We want to do that in a signature. Okay. We'll just call it the default signature, and then I'm going to just paste that in, and we'll go ahead and save changes, and let's see what happens when I compose a new message. Ah, I missed one thing in the settings. All right, so let's go back down to the signature. New emails, default, or on reply and forward. Use the default, use the default. And we'll do that. Okay, and now I'll save changes. Okay, now if I compose a new message, notice it came up with my signature. Okay, so again, that's in settings. See all settings, settings, see all settings, and then down here at signature, right? And then I can create my signature there. Now I can insert images if I need to. You don't want to do much of that, but you might want to actually put your contact information in here if, and like phone number and address if you are using this for job search. Okay, now there's another section here at the top. See, we're in general. All right, at the top here, we want to go to filters and blocked addresses and create a new filter. Okay, and I could put from okay, okay, so robert.ruiz at edd.ca.gov. Okay, so any email coming from there, I'm going to click on create filter and I'm going to check here apply label and choose label. I have to make a new label, EDD. Okay, and I'll go ahead and create that label. So I have a label EDD and I'm going to apply it. Check on this one here. So if there's any other email messages that match that, it will go along with that filter. And now I have a filter built. And if I go to see all settings and go to filters, and it says apply label EDD if it's coming from Robert. Okay. So now if I get a message from Robert at my inbox, it's automatically going to um, label it with that EDD. Now, if I go over here to EDD, see how if when I hover over it, these three little dots appear, and I click on that, I can choose a color for the label. And let's say, oh, for right now, we're gonna make the EDD color, and I can choose like a custom color here, right? But if I want to give it a color, for right now, I'll give it a little bit of a brown color, like you would see on the bear in the state of California flag. All right, for instance. All right, now I can just click back on my inbox and there we go. Um, I'm able to filter things so that they come up with labels and use that to help organize email. The trick with this stuff is to stay on top of the email and don't give that email to anything but job sites or professional stuff. Keep everything else away from it. Now, you can have more than one profile in Chrome. As you can see, I have multiple here. Okay. And I'm probably going to need to edit this one just a little bit. I'll put in the Mister so I can distinguish it. Okay. And then you see how it says Mr. Daniel A. Stafford, right? Obviously, it would appear down in this list if I were using one of my other profiles. Okay. And that's how you can set up a professional Gmail. Now, here's the thing. This Gmail is great for job search and stuff like that, but it gives you access to a whole bunch more tools. We just barely touched on it. You've got Gmail, but you also have Google Docs, Google Drive. Later on, I'll show you how you can use it for Google Sheets. That's going to be an important one because you're going to want to use some kind of tracking mechanism to track where you applied, what jobs you applied for, and when. All right, so I will show you a kind of a template that I have for that at some point. We're going to do that in separate videos, but at least we've got the basic Gmail creation down and we've talked about how to do a good password, how to keep it professional, how to set up labels on incoming, how to set up a signature for it, and how to keep it synchronized to so it's its own profile. And you can do a little bit with organizing bookmarks. Now, let's say I want to create another folder and call it Human Resources Sites on the bookmarks bar. And you can see I've got HR sites. And now let's say I go to, we'll open a new tab, right? So I can keep my Gmail open. We'll go to a new tab and we'll go to like ziprecruiter.com. Okay. And say I want to, bookmark ZipRecruiter and I can put it there. And no, I'm not going to sign in right now. Thanks, ZipRecruiter. They want me to sign in instantly. And then I'll right click on that bookmark and edit it because it's super long. I'm just going to make it ZipRecruiter. Save myself a little bit of headache. All right, ZipRecruiter. And then let's go to linkedin.com. And I'm not going to sign into that either right now because that's going to be a very different video. But I definitely will be doing this at another time. We're going to be doing a blank LinkedIn profile, but that's going to be much later in the course. But I want you to understand how you can use bookmarks, how you can use tabs. Let's see. Um, let's say I want to search the EDD. Let's do it this way. All right. edd.ca.gov. Now, I want you to pay attention down here in this lower left corner when I am hovering over this. You see this in links? Look at down there at the bottom left corner. That's telling me where that link is actually going to go. All right. I could, hover over one of these other ones. It's going to tell me that what website it goes to. Um, Now you can see things get long really easy. You want to pay attention to those web links. And what's really important here is at the bottom, you see how it says https://www.gov.ca.gov. Okay, that ca.gov is important because that means that's California government website. All right, CA for California. All right, if it was ca.gov.gov, it would belong to gov.gov, not ca.gov. All right, so pay attention to what order they're in. Right now, this is ca.gov. Um, so let's say I wanted to bookmark the EDD website. I can do that here. Okay, so you can do an awful lot with Chrome and bookmarks, and we've got you set up with Gmail. And here we go. We've got LinkedIn open. We've got the Employment Development Department open. We've got Gmail open, and I can close my tabs right here. Okay, without closing the entire thing in the corner. Right, just close the one tab. Okay, so I think we're going to call it for this video. We've kind of got got Gmail set up. We've got a decent Gmail address. We've turned on synchronization. We did that when we set this up. Okay, that's very important for saving your bookmarks and your passwords and form fill information to the cloud. And again, you want to use this profile icon up here, not the one here. Okay, this one is for Chrome. This one is just for this one web page that shows Gmail. All right, so it's very important that when you're setting up the account to sign it into Chrome and make sure it's synchronized to Chrome, you want to do it here up by the settings. Okay, and I think that's enough for one video. And you might want to practice with getting your own Gmail set up, and then we'll worry about other videos later. So thank you everyone for watching, and okay, let's see if you can set up a Gmail on your own. And on that note, I'll say see you next time.